A major winter storm is developing across the United States. Heavy snow, dangerous ice, and historic cold temperatures are all part of this system. This is shaping up to be significant. Right now, conditions across the country vary dramatically. Across the Gulf Coast from Texas through Louisiana and into Mississippi, temperatures have been running 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Mississippi dealt with severe weather and tornado warnings earlier this week. That warm, unstable air mass sitting over the region is about to collide with Arctic air pushing down from Canada. South Carolina has been experiencing rainy conditions and near-record warmth. That changes dramatically starting this weekend. Compare that to the high plains. Eastern Colorado saw temperatures drop to 17 degrees with wind chills down to 5 degrees. That Arctic air mass is what we're going to be dealing with as this system develops. Northeast Florida has enjoyed perfect weather for the past 10 days. Clear skies, comfortable temperatures. By Friday, that will feel like a distant memory. The contrast is remarkable. Missouri has been quiet with temperatures around 40 degrees and calm conditions. Almost boring for winter weather enthusiasts. That extended mild spell ends next week when the pattern flips. South central Wisconsin was seeing rain this morning. Some areas are already reporting the transition to snow beginning. That's how quickly this system is moving through. Let me explain what's happening meteorologically. This is not a typical winter storm driven by a low-pressure system. What we're dealing with is an unusually strong high-pressure system moving out of Canada. This high is pushing an anomalous amount of Arctic air very far south. That cold air is overrunning the natural moisture and warmth that's been sitting around the Gulf of Mexico. The mixing of these two very different air masses is creating this event. It's essentially a massive burst of cold air from Canada moving too far south, and there is a reaction happening near the Gulf because of that collision. The event begins Friday. From the Rockies to the Appalachians, precipitation will light up on radar very quickly. Friday into Saturday, it starts as snow in places like Kansas and Oklahoma. Even Missouri and Kentucky will see snow initially. But there's going to be a transition zone where significant icing is probable. For areas like Dallas and Memphis, the potential for problems is real. Drawing the exact line between who sees mostly snow and who sees ice is difficult this far out. That's going to be hard to nail down until we closer to the event. But if you are in the affected area on Friday, you will be experiencing winter storm impacts. As the storm moves east Saturday into Sunday, things intensify. We have a rare, widespread 15 to 30% probability of a winter storm from the Weather Prediction Center. That's the highest category they issue. The peak of the storm will likely hit areas where we'll see the greatest impacts from both snow and ice. Generally speaking, the farther north you are, the more snow you're going to get. The farther south you are, the more freezing rain and sleet you are going to encounter. Areas like Little Rock, Memphis, Huntsville, and possibly the Appalachian Mountains near Asheville need to be concerned about potential ice storms. It is too early to talk about specifics. All the areas I just mentioned could end up with a foot of snow and no ice. The ice could be farther south. I want everybody to be aware of what's developing. This is going to be a significant storm for somebody. This is going to be a storm we talk about for a long time. We just don't know exactly who for yet. The potential is large. It does look like somebody is going to get a significant ice storm out of this. Let's hope it's not you. Just know that the farther south you are, the more likely that scenario becomes. Sunday into Monday, we're still going to have some icing problems farther south in South Carolina and North Carolina potentially. But the ice becomes less of a problem as you go north and east. It does look like we're going to have significant snow in the mid-Atlantic region, maybe even up into New England. The models are still showing some variation with how this storm impacts the East Coast. Some models show the storm skirting off the coast and departing quickly. That would lead to less snow in the Northeast. But some models are trying to strengthen the storm and make it ride the coast. We all know what that means for the East Coast. That means significant accumulation. Let's look at the data. We have what meteorologists call a textbook battle zone. Arctic air is surging southward like a cold front, but it's not even attached to a low-pressure system in this instance. What is fascinating about this event is it's not really a storm in the traditional sense. It is the opposite. We have a massive, unprecedented high-pressure system coming out of Canada that is throwing an enormous amount of Arctic cold air very far south. It is overrunning the natural moisture and warmth around the Gulf. This mixing is what is causing the precipitation. It's a crazy burst of cold air from Canada moving too far south, and there's a reaction happening near the Gulf because of that. While the snow will get the headlines, the ice threat with this system is what truly concerns me for the southern plains and the deep south. We have a persistent band of freezing rain and sleet that sets up. Areas between Houston and Dallas are potentially in a zone to see significant ice. Maybe even areas near Jackson, Mississippi over towards Birmingham, Alabama, maybe even Atlanta. That line could shift north. It could shift south. We don't know exactly where that line's going to set up right now. Usually when tracking storms, there's a bias that as we get closer to the system, solutions trend north. But since we are not talking about a big low-pressure center here, and we were dealing with an anomalously strong high-pressure system, maybe that northward trend doesn't happen. We're in somewhat uncharted waters here. The latest guidance has mostly ice from Dallas over to Atlanta into Columbia, South Carolina. Oklahoma City looks to stay mostly snow. Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville appears to be all snow. Much of North Carolina north of Charlotte is all snow. Richmond, Virginia will almost certainly stay all snow. Lexington, Kentucky, and similar areas want to have to deal with ice. It's south of there where the question remains. The guidance doesn't really curl this up the coast. That means there would be less snow in the northeast, but it's still going to impact the mid-Atlantic region with snow significantly. Everyone wants to know snow amounts. Early indications tell me a widespread 6 to 8 inches is likely, with some places potentially picking up 14 inches or more. The national blend of models paints a significant bullseye in North Carolina and Virginia. Specifically around Richmond, we're talking about 17 inches of snow. That is an average between all the models. Richmond, Virginia, this looks like a significant scenario if you are a snow enthusiast. The reason the averages are so high in that area isn't because one model shows an extreme amount. It is because consistently all the models hit this area. It's less consistent to see the snow actually make it up to the northeast. It's less consistent to see all snow in some areas. Some models have a dry slot working in, some models show the ice and rain moving a little bit farther north. We have consistency in certain areas. At the end of the day, there will be a widespread band of a foot or more of snow that stretches across a large area. The question is, where exactly is that band? Is it in one location or 100 miles north or 100 miles south? That's what we need to figure out. The latest blend model shows 7 inches of snow in New York City, Nashville 7 inches, Knoxville 10 inches, Memphis 5.3, Little Rock 5. Some places in Tennessee and Arkansas will likely get over a foot of snow. We just don't know which part yet. There's another significant bullseye in the panhandles of Oklahoma, Texas, and up into Kansas. This bullseye is there not because it's going to snow harder, but because we have more confidence. This is happening soon. The models have a better understanding of what is going to happen in that time frame. It does look like 8 to 9 inches of snow is going to fall in areas like Woodward, Oklahoma. Tomorrow and the next day, we'll have enough data to fine-tune these numbers and give you ranges. Right now, we are still pretty far out from the storm. I don't want to lock in any numbers because we know this will change. I am not showing ice accumulations yet. Just know that on the southern side of the snow accumulations where they start to taper off, that is where we've got the best chance of seeing significant icing. Some models show over an inch of ice accumulation in Atlanta, Georgia. Some models show over 2 inches of ice accumulation in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Some models show a significant amount of ice in Dallas. It is possible that all 3 of those places get a crippling ice storm with accumulations over 3/4 of an inch. If that happens, this is going to be catastrophic. I don't want to discuss that too much because of how quickly things can change. I am going to wait. I am not even going to show potential icing scenarios until tomorrow or the next day when the data is more solidified. But if what is showing up right now continues to show up, we're going to have a significant problem. Let me explain why. It's not just because of the ice accumulations. We all know what ice accumulations bring. Power outages. This snow situation, this winter storm, is unusual because the thing making it happen is that high-pressure system driving Arctic air down into the United States. It's going to settle in the southeast. If we have an ice storm that knocks out power for millions of people in the deep south, low temperatures Tuesday morning when the power is out could be -10 in Huntsville, Alabama. That's not the wind chill. That's the actual temperature. It will be colder in Huntsville than in Canada. We have this bowl of cold air settling in because of the high pressure system and also because of the snowpack that's probably going to be in place. That snowpack will keep temperatures down. -6 in Memphis, -9 in Clarksville. If we see these temperatures and we have significant icing problems, this is going to be bad. Let us hope for the best. Weather forecasts are wrong sometimes. Let's hope this is one of those times. If not, we've got serious preparation to discuss tomorrow and the next day concerning what needs to be done. The cold air isn't going anywhere soon. The 6 to 10 day outlook locks us in a brutally cold pattern all the way through the next 10 days. We're going to be way below average in the east, anywhere east of the Rockies, really. There are even signals for another storm to hit the east coast after this one. Winter is here. Maryland, many of you have been waiting for snow. 2 years without a major storm in some areas. This pattern shift has potential. I am not going to promise anything until we see how these systems develop, but the setup is there. For those in Florida who don tea, typically experience this kind of cold, this is unusual for you. Most people in Florida don tea own heavy winter coats, and that's understandable. Multiple thin layers work better than trying to find a parka. The principle is trapping warm air between layers. 3 or 4 lighter layers are more effective than one heavy coat. Across the Gulf Coast, you've been dealing with temperature fluctuations. One day 70 degrees, next day 40, then back up. People have been dealing with sinus issues and other problems from these swings. That pattern of back and forth ends when sustained cold moves in. Wisconsin, you are already seeing the transition from rain to snow. How quickly this is developing. The system is moving through rapidly. Let me be clear about preparation. This is not about panic. This is about being ready. If you are in an area that could see significant ice, you need to think about what happens if the power goes out. If you heat with electricity, what's your backup plan? If you have a fireplace, make sure you have firewood. If you have a generator, make sure it's fueled and tested. For areas expecting heavy snow, the preparation is different. Do you have a snow shovel? Do you have enough food to stay home for several days? Can you avoid driving? In areas that don tea regularly see heavy snow, the infrastructure to clear roads quickly isn't always there. Richmond, Virginia could see 17 inches. 20 years ago, they got 1 inch and there were accidents everywhere because they didn't have plows or salt. Hopefully that's changed, but be prepared for the possibility that roads want to be cleared quickly. Leave your water dripping if temperatures are going below zero. Moving water is harder to freeze. If your pipes start sputtering, your water is already freezing. An extra few dollars on your water bill is much more manageable than a burst pipe. If you use a generator, make sure there is proper ventilation. Carbon monoxide is deadly. Generators must be outside with proper airflow. Every year, people die from running generators in enclosed spaces. Check on elderly neighbors. If you know someone who lives alone, make sure they re-prepared. Make sure they have heat, food, water. If power goes out and temperatures drop to -10, that is life-threatening for vulnerable people. Bring pets inside. If that's not possible, make shelters for them. Animals can survive extended periods in these temperatures without protection. For those who have to work during this, especially emergency responders and utility workers, thank you. Linemen will be out in brutal conditions restoring power. Emergency medical services will be responding in dangerous conditions. The work you do keeps people safe. If you're a truck driver, ice and sleet are your biggest concerns. It always seems the worst conditions hit Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas for truckers. If conditions deteriorate, find a safe place to stop. No load is worth your life. Don tea, eat rock salt. That sounds ridiculous to say, but it needs to be said. If your car gets stuck in snow, cat litter under the tires increases traction. It's better than sand. Costs $3. Works effectively. Many of you probably already know this. Don tea, just shovel once if you're in heavy snow areas. You will need to do it multiple times, or wait until the snowfall ends. Otherwise, you're just doing the same work repeatedly. Keep extra fuel if you have equipment that needs it. Refresh stored fuel if needed. Make sure snowblowers are ready if you have them. If you are traveling, consider changing plans. This is not a good weekend to be on the roads in the affected areas. Airlines will likely have cancellations and delays. Stock up on non-perishable food. Not because you need to hoard, but because you might not be able to get to a store for several days. Canned goods, dry goods, things that don tea require cooking if power goes out. Fill prescriptions now if you are due for refills. Don tea, wait until the storm hits. Charge all your devices, have backup batteries. If power goes out, you want to be able to get information. Know where your flashlights are. Check batteries. Candles work, but be careful with open flames. If you have a fireplace, open the cabinets under sinks on exterior walls. That helps prevent pipes from freezing. For those heating with wood stoves, you are in good shape as long as you have fuel. Wood stoves put out significant heat and you can cook on top of them. If you re in an area expecting ice, the single biggest concern is power outages. Ice brings down trees and power lines. If you can stay with family or friends who have better heat sources, consider it. This system is unusual. The meteorological setup is not typical. That makes forecasting harder. That's why I am being cautious with specifics. The data will get better as we get closer. Check back tomorrow and the next day for updated information. The National Weather Service will have the most up-to-date information for your specific area. They have local offices that understand regional patterns. Use them as a resource. This is serious, but it's not the apocalypse. Winter means snow and cold. This isn't unprecedented in that sense, but it is significant. It deserves attention and preparation. Many of you remember the blizzard of '78. Temperatures hit 20 below zero, 3 feet of snow in some areas. The current situation may be less extreme than that in some ways. You've seen worse. You know how to handle winter weather, but don't underestimate this one either. The ice is the wild card. Snow you can deal with. You shovel it, you plow it, it melts eventually. Ice is different. Ice takes down infrastructure. Ice makes roads impassable. Ice can leave you without power in dangerous cold. If you are in the potential ice zone, take this seriously. If the models verify and we get 3/4 of an inch to over an inch of ice, that's catastrophic. Trees will come down, power lines will snap. It could be days or even weeks before power is restored in some areas. I am not trying to scare you. I am trying to make sure you understand what's possible so you can prepare appropriately. There's a difference between being scared and being prepared. Being prepared means you are not scared because you've done what needs to be done. Tomorrow we'll have better data. The models will have updated. We'll have a clearer picture of the track, the timing, the amounts. Check back for that information. For now, start thinking about preparation. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't be the person fighting for the last gallon of milk at the grocery store. Get what you need now while it's available. This is going to be significant for somebody. It's going to be a storm people remember. Whether that SU depends on exactly where this sets up. But better to be prepared and not need it than to need it and not be prepared. Stay safe. Check on your neighbors. Help those who need it. We get through these events by working together and looking out for each other. The next few days will give us much better information. The forecast will become clearer. The uncertainty will decrease. Until then, prepare for the possibility that your area could see significant impacts. This is a large system. The affected area is huge. Millions of people are going to deal with some aspect of this storm. Snow, ice, cold, or all three. The time to prepare is now, not when it's already happening. Check your supplies, check your equipment, check on your people, make your plans, then execute those plans. Don't be scared.